Welcome to Close of Play, our wrap-up of a business day for Thursday. And first up, just quickly over the Treasury figures. Look, nothing unexpected there, was it? Worsening economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Unemployment forecast to rise as we expected. Debt predicted to hit 33%.
And weakening growth.
And weakening growth. So, yeah, I mean, nothing unexpected given the current international climate.
But you've got something interesting out of JP Morgan, though.
Yeah, JP Morgan's note on the Treasury information today is predicting further 2 quarters of recession. So obviously we'd had Alan Bollard recently saying that he expects the country to come out of recession. Well, he's becoming a bit of an isolated voice on that one.
Yep.
Economists are seeing things remaining mired in recession for a bit longer yet.
All right, and talking of mire and unravelling, New Zealand Farming Systems Uruguay, I guess that really for me is the big story of the day, predicting a big annual loss, forecasting what, 11 million down?
Yeah, look, this is quite an interesting one. New Zealand Farming Systems Uruguay, remember, which floated a year ago at $1.50 a share, spun out of PGG Wrightson, which skims off a nice management fee for managing the company. New Zealand Farming Systems has come out today and said it now expects an annual loss before interest and tax of up to $11 million US. Just a couple of months back at its October annual meeting, it said there was potential for downside from analysts' consensus range for earnings before interest and tax of between 8 and 10 million US. So that's an enormous turnaround. And we've got fund managers now basically on the back of PGG Wrightson itself yesterday coming out with a 23.5% downgrade to its earnings forecast. Yep. Fund managers now coming out and questioning the fundamentals of the balance sheet structures of these companies and their banking covenants, and the fact that they're going to need to raise new money at a time where the environment is very tough for money raising and the economy is obviously in recession. So there's some real question marks over the broader PGG Wrightson expansion strategy and the high gearing that the company's taken on under Craig Norgate's leadership. And
I guess Craig Norgate, that's the side story. I mean, Craig Norgate highly leveraged around that personally. So I guess there's a lot more still to flow on that particular story. Looking for tomorrow's Dominion Post, I guess, for something on that. And talking over unravelling, we've got to close off with Chrysler. My goodness, it's closing its 30 plants worldwide, idling them, it says, basically shutting them down for the next at least a month in an effort to save money.
Yeah, no surprise, I guess, but you wonder whether, to what extent is this a bargaining ploy with the US government, obviously, as they try and get that big bailout. They've said for at least a month. So I guess some pretty nervous workers at Chrysler plants around the US heading into Christmas. Nice big holiday, but will they have a job to come back to?
Exactly.
That's the question.
And just to put that into context, the bailout they're looking for is $14 billion, but that would only see them staggering through to the end of the first quarter. And I guess the one figure which stood out to me today came from the Independent newspaper, that GM is hemorrhaging $67 million a day just to keep itself afloat.
Yeah, so big question marks over the future of the US car makers still.
How can they keep going? All right, that's Close of Play. Thank you.